Whether you guys do, and happy to see the sun finally. And I have 3 children, Thomas, Mary, and Colleen, and today was their last day of school. So right now they're at home, kicking off their summer vacation. So we won't make them read today, right? We'll start next week. But anyway, yeah, I've been with Lexia for about 2 years now, and I was a 4th grade teacher in Plainville, Connecticut for about 10 years. And then I was an elementary school principal for about another 10 years in a couple of different districts up near where I live. So I've certainly experienced the challenges of summer school. Was talking with Janine. In the last district where I worked, we had a very well-attended summer school. So I understand there's some different challenges in summer school. You're probably going to be working with students that you don't necessarily know from the school year, and you're going to be getting to know them. And you probably have them for a short period of time, maybe 3 to 5 weeks. How long is your summer school here? 6 weeks. Oh, good. Well, that's excellent. And can someone tell me when does summer school start? Is it after July 4th? Oh, Monday. Oh, okay. Right. Monday. All right. Boy, you guys are good, huh? All right. So, all right. So that means that we definitely, this is timely information. So my presenting style, so I'm very informal, so I will try to go at a nice friendly pace. Although this is the more experienced users of the program, there's still a lot of information here that normally that I deliver to even people that have had experience with the program. So you'll probably pick up a few tips and tricks along the way. So my plan for today was to review the program with you guys and then get into the data that the program can offer you for your kids working in summer school. And for summer school, there's going to be a couple of quirks that I want to explain to you because, for example, you might be getting students who have already used the program during the school year, and you might be getting students who have never used the program. So we'll get into that a little bit as we go along. And I've got a handy-dandy assistant with me today, Lisa Hawes in the back there. Everyone say hi to Lisa. Yeah. And Lisa is our account executive for Connecticut. And so she helps, she's the liaison between the people that write the checks and the people that use the program. So it's great to have her here. And Lisa started out right as a trainer way back when with Lexia, right? Do you want to introduce yourself?
Before that, I used the discs a million years ago. I think my voice is pretty loud.
Oh, you know you want the microphone.
I actually hate microphones. So I use the discs, the Lexia discs, primary reading. How many of you used Lexia when it was on the discs?
Way back when, the floppy discs?
Yeah, they were CDs.
Oh, DVDs.
Yeah,
CDs.
yeah. So I predate all of you. I'm aging myself. I'm dating myself. So I used the discs in my 4th grade classrooms, and I fell in love with Lexia, absolutely. And when I had an opportunity to become a trainer for Lexia, I jumped at it. Loved working with teachers. And now I get to represent the company all around the state with all of our customers, and I couldn't be happier. I just absolutely love my job because I love this product. So anytime you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. As you can see, I'm very enthusiastic about this product, so I'm always happy to talk with educators about helping people learn how to read. So yeah, that's where I am.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, no, I have to confess, Lisa knows way more about the product than I do, so it's great to have her here, because if I don't know the answer, we're going to shoot it over to Lisa. So, like I said, this is going to be a very informal session, so everyone can take a deep breath and relax. We're going to have plenty of time to play around with the program, make sure that you can create your classes that you're going to be having for summer school. So that's going to be part of the training. So don't worry about having to do that as homework or whatever. We're going to build that right into the training. And I believe the way the time is structured is that we have until 2 o'clock, but I'm going to try to end right about 1:45 to give you guys a breather, and you can, Lisa and I will still be here, and we can circulate and answer questions. The other thing that, yes, Lisa.
I'm sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you, but speaking of questions.
Yes.
So what we'd like to do is, because you all assume you're going to have some questions for us. So if you have questions, I'll pass around these Post-it notes, and you can write your questions on them, or if you want to just raise your hand and ask questions.
Yeah,
as
sure.
Matt
That's
said,
a great idea, yeah.
We're both very informal in our presentation style. We really like workshop type environments rather than chalk and talk type environments. I will put questions up on the board as well, if we're going to get to it later, because I want to make sure that we answer all of your questions.
Excellent,
To
yeah.
get as in-depth as you need us to get.
Yeah, so if you see those Post-it notes come around, fill one of those out, Lisa can pick it up, or just shout your question out, and that's fine too. And we promise not to make up any answers, we'll just tell you. We don't know, we'll get back to you. So anyway, yeah, so let's think about using our time wisely. So we have about an hour and 15 minutes. So what we'll do is we'll make sure everybody can log on. Okay, if you don't have a laptop, you can buddy up with someone. We had a few extra, but I see that those are gone. So you just want to make sure you're able to get on. You've got some Wi-Fi there.
Does everybody have a partner at least that you can partner with that has a device?
Yep.
Just not.
Yes, I will give a demo in a few minutes. I'll give you a demo password. But this is a good way, just get ready. Make sure your laptop's open, you've got all your fingertips are ready to fly. All right? So before we actually dive into the program, I've got some background information that I want to share with you about the program. And Lisa's going to come around, and we just came out with a brand new user's guide for the program. 12 pages, color, glossy, it's beautiful, okay? And so the first part of my presentation is going to follow this brochure. So you see that when you open it up, we've got some background information about the program, scope and sequence, etc., how the program works generally for the students. So you can take this with you, and if you have a colleague that you'd like to share one with, or you want one for later, it's also available electronically on our website. I'll show you where that is. So I'm going to have Lisa, I'll just open these up, and she can hand those out for me. Thank you, Lisa. You can go backwards now.
Okay.
Yep.
Go back the other direction.
Yep. All right, so where should we begin with Lexia? Let's all remember that you are the teacher of your summer school class. Lexia is a tool to help you reach your literacy goals. So the tool cannot work without the operator. You are the operator, right? So you need to use the tool appropriately for your students. So that's going to mean talking to Janine. It sounds like you have a little 1 hour block planned for, I'm not sure if that's sounding familiar to everyone, but sounds like you have about an hour where you're going to be doing some rotations, yeah? So correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like 20 minutes, 20 minutes, and 20 minutes, yeah? So that's a great way to do that, because then you can have students on the software on Lexia, and you can be working with other students while that's going on. So you guys are more experienced users of the program, so you know that as the students are on the program, you're going to be getting some information in your My Lexia website. Yes, Janine?
They do have usernames and passwords. Kathy said it this morning, I forgot.
Okay.
It's their email address is the username, teacher1 uppercase T. Teacher1 is password.
Okay.
But the para-educators do not. They're the ones that need the demo.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
So if you do have a password, okay, so I'm going to do a little spoiler alert here. If you do have a password, we might as well try that out right now. You indicated it's the district email address and teacher1. Yep. Okay. That will work on 2 different sites, because the first thing to remember about Lexia is that it is kept in 2 different places. All right? there is the student sign-in window, which some of you have found, where you can sign in using your password and you can access the student program. And then there's the data site, which is completely different. Okay? The data site is located at mylexia.com. Mylexia.com, right? So, spoiler alert, we're going to start at mylexia.com. So, if you are not at mylexia.com, you might want to try that out. I'll show you what it looks like right up here. Looks a little bit like this, right here. Does that screen look familiar to you guys? mylexia.com. And then Janine said if you're not familiar with your username and password, you can use the one that the district created for you.
Yeah, and para-educators, I was just saying at tables, why don't you just use the email address of a teacher at your school, and then use the password, it's generic for everybody, teacher one, just for the purpose of the see if that works. Like, maybe you don't need to get that down.
We do have a demo password, but if you want to kind of buddy up and use a teacher email and then teacher one, that will be the same thing, and you're not really,
Sure it'll work.
Yeah.
For these purposes here.
yeah.
And there is a spot right in your username and password on the back of your teacher training guide. If you want to write it down.
Now, summer school is also a challenge because if you're a teacher that had students on Lexia, you're probably seeing their data right now. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we're going to create a new class, and I'm going to show you how to do that so that you've got your summer school kids in there. Okay? So I'll give you a few seconds just to get that all squared away. I think so, yeah. mylexia.com, yeah. Okay. So I think that the first thing, because you guys are more experienced users, I'm going to give you just a brief review of the program, and then I think the first thing we're going to do is to create your class if you haven't already created your class, okay? So let me show you just on the first page of your user's guide, if you flip your user's guide over to the first page, right inside the front cover, you're going to see something that looks like this right here, okay? One second. Try to find the little graphic that looks like this, okay? This is our scope and sequence for the program. And you see that those colors are woven together. Those colors are definitely used intentionally because the whole program is color-coded. So if you're looking over a student's shoulder and they're working on a green activity, that's going to be phonological awareness. If they're working on an orange activity, that's going to be phonics. Purple is structural analysis, etc. Pink is fluency. Yellow is vocabulary, and blue is comprehension.
Can you explain structural analysis?
Yes, that's the one I always get a lot of questions on, structural analysis. Structural analysis is an analysis of words and word parts. So the students are going to break up and make new words, for example, using prefixes, root words, and suffixes. So the example I like to give is the Latin root word temp, T-E-M-P. So temp, you can make a lot of different words with. Contemporary, attempt, help me out here. Contempt, right? Contempt, right? Temperature, right? Yep. So the idea is that if students learn root words, prefixes, and suffixes, they'll expand their vocabulary power and they'll be able to sort of apply that to new learning, okay? All right? All right. So here is an important fact about the program, and this is really important to understand, so if you're taking notes, you might want to highlight this one, okay? Students are going to be placed at their instructional level in the program if they've never used the program before. So if they are first-time users of the program, they're going to take a little auto placement or a placement test, and it's going to put them at a beginning instructional level. So it could be level 5, it could be level 8, etc. However, if you have students in your summer school class that have been using the program, they're just going to pick right back up where they left off. You'll see that they already have information in there, and they're already at a particular level. So when we go to create those classes, and you see who's in your class, you'll see some have no information, and some have information because they've been using the program. Now, I was discussing this with Janine before. There is an option in the program to replace the students. So if you see that a student has been using the program and yet they're struggling or the level seems too hard for them, I'll show you how to reset the program for them and they can get placed again and kind of start the program again. And you don't have a problem with that, Janine, right? If they do that? No? Okay. All right, so I'll make sure to show you guys how to do that. Now, what is progress in the program? How do students make progress in the program? The whole program is based on the instructional units. That is the building block of the whole program. This whole program is divided into 1,100 instructional units. And you might be asking yourself, how many instructional units are at each level? Does anybody know how many units the kids have to complete to finish a whole level? Take a guess. 10? 6? 140? Okay. All right. This is pretty good. I'm glad you guys aren't on The Price is Right. No. The correct answer is about 70. About 70. Okay? So the students have to do about 70 instructional units to move up one level. And an instructional unit should take no longer than 5 to 7 minutes, okay? So they're little bits of learning, In fact, I can show you how many units are in each level. I said about 70, it's kind of a rough average. So you see that some of the levels only have 40 or 50 units. Some of the levels have 80, 77, 78. So I think if you were to average those all out, you go with about 70 units are in each level. So when you're looking at the data this summer, you want to see how many units the kids are finishing every day or every week. And hopefully in 6 weeks, they can do enough to move up a level or two, okay? I would say that would be a good goal for summer because think about it. You've got 6 weeks of summer school. You've got 4 days a week, right? So roughly 24 days. Is that pretty much right on? Yeah. If the kids are using the program 20 minutes a day, 24 times 20 is about 500 minutes, let's say. Okay? So in 500 minutes, I would say they should be able to move up at least a level, maybe a level or two, depending on how quickly they can do those units. Now, I said 5 to 7 minutes. Some students can do them in 2 to 4 minutes because they're kind of getting the idea, they're pretty proficient. Some students are going to struggle, and they might be stuck on one unit for 10, 20 minutes. And then that's the beauty of this program. It's going to show you where they're struggling so you can help them out. All right? Any questions, any particular questions to this point? I know Lisa's going to go around and pick up those little post-it notes, but does anybody want to shout out? You have any questions up to this point? Feeling pretty good? Or? Yeah? Okay, good. All right. So, let's see what my next slide is here. Okay. Now, the whole program is based around units and minutes. So we talked about units. Units are how they move up. They complete units, okay? And if they complete about 70 units, they're going to move up a level. We also track minutes. Minutes are tracked in the program. And students get to see the minutes that they're putting in and the units that they're gaining in the program. So if you see that middle square, that's going to show Johnny or Mike there. That's going to show when he's got 15 minutes in the program. All right? And you see he's moved up 3 units so far this week. This is going to be a little different, so you might want to listen just a bit carefully to this one. Students are given a goal. The number of minutes that they should be working on the program weekly. That goal is based on two things. It's based on where they initially place in the program and what is their end of grade level benchmark. All right? But here's the twist. Here's the twist for you guys. They don't get that goal, they don't get that minute goal until they've used the program for 4 weeks. So if you've got a student who is just starting with the program next Monday, they're not going to get that targeted number of minutes right away, okay? So I would say you don't really need to pay attention to that because you're going to be providing the kids 80 minutes a week anyway, and that's going to cover the largest goal because the largest goal is 80 minutes for any one kid, okay? So I guess what I'm saying is you don't have to pay too much attention to that goal because you're going to be giving them plenty of minutes anyway. And if students use the program at home and get really excited about it, sometimes kids do 100 or 150 minutes a week. You probably noticed that during the school year. Now, Janine, we do have a letter. Are you guys familiar with that? There's a little letter in there that you can send home to parents to show them how to log in to use the program at home. I can show folks how to access that letter, and you can hand that out the first day of summer school if you want.
You can put it in their take-home bag.
Yeah. All right. So minutes, units. Okay. Good. All right. Okay. All right. Let me just review. The program comes with offline paper pencil materials that you can print off to help the students. And this is generally how we try to use those offline materials. If you remember, the students, when they're going through the program, if they're struggling, the computer tries to help them. There's 2 ways that the computer tries to help them. It helps them by giving them some guided practice. And if they're still struggling, it would give them some direct instruction. So the computer screen actually changes, and it provides them with this support. And we call those 3 different colored screens. There's the standard or green bar screen, and that means the students are not getting any help. If they struggle, they might go down to the blue bar type of screen, which is called guided practice. And if they really struggle, they'll go down to the yellow bar, the direct instruction, where they're getting a lot of extra help. So you just need to remember that if students are doing well and they're completing units and levels, you're going to be given access to extra practice for them to help reinforce their skills. And that extra practice, they're called skill builders. You can print them out and use them for your small group work or use them for homework. Of course, there's probably not any homework for summer school, but you could use them that way. If a student is struggling and they've gone down to try to get that extra help and it's just not working, they still don't know how to do the skill, they're going to be flagged in your site. You guys are probably familiar with this, right? There's going to be a little area that says struggling. And if a student is struggling, they're going to recommend that you pull them aside and deliver a little lesson to them. And that's the other resource that you have. You have these little lessons. Now, those aren't designed to be done independently by the students. You really need a teacher to kind of lead them through that. So those are those lessons that we were talking about. Okay? I'm just curious. Who has used the program to the extent that you've checked that data, you've seen who's struggling, you've printed out those lessons maybe periodically, you've used those lessons with kids? Is that sounding familiar yet? Yeah? Yes? Okay, is that why you guys kind of self-selected into this kind of more experienced group? That's good. So you guys know what I'm talking about there. Here's another question for you. Who has ever used the demo program that allows you to pretend to be a student and try out all the activities for yourself? Who's ever used that? All right, so that might be valuable to show you that, okay? Because what you can do with this, what I'm going to show you right now, what you can do with this is you can put it up. Do you think they'll have access to a whiteboard or something to project? you could actually gather your kids around on the first day of summer school, and you could show them the sample program that I'm about to show you here. And that will help you orient them to, if they've never used the program before, that will help you orient them to it. So why don't we do this? Try to get, everybody should be in My Lexia, okay? So, right? You guys are all, just about all of you able to get into My Lexia because
No, not at all.
Janine gave you that password, no, the sample password? It's not working, no, yet.
I put my school email in
And teacher one, is it like capital T, teacher one? Try that, try that. If you're not able to get in that way, I'll give you a demo password, okay?
Teacher's name. Put the teacher's name.
Here's the demo username, class@core5demo.com. class@core5demo.com, and the password is success. class@core5demo.com, success, and that's going to bring you into a pretend teacher. And the pretend teacher's name is Mrs. Lemire. And she's already got data in here, no?
What was the teacher's name again?
No, the password is class@core5demo.com, and the password is success. That should work. Why isn't it working? Ooh. class@core5demo.com. So try this. Unless the home office changed it, I mean. Let's try it again.
You could try district.
class@core5demo. Success. SUCCESS.
Try,
I can just use mine.
try teacher.
Teacher? Teacher?
Yeah. Like for everybody who is
Yeah. Oh, I know. Is this what's up to you?
Yeah. It wouldn't give you the
Let me see if mine works.
I'm into my kid one, to my data.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get up to access.
try district.
Yeah. Hold on one sec, folks. Let me make sure I have the right.
Yeah, but everyone on my.
This might not apply. I know I have the password list of the old ones. No, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
It must have been changed.
Yeah, or that's down.
He's trying to log on.
class@core5demo.
District dash.
Well, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to show you a little workaround, so don't worry about it. Again, this is no worries training. That's the name of my training. No worries training. Oh, Lisa, I knew we invited you here for a reason. All right, so it's going to be district@core5demo.com.
I've earned my keep for the day.
district@core5demo.com. And the password is success. Okay?
So this is not the view that you will have. All right, we're getting you in this demo at a much higher level than you will have. When you log in with your own username and password, when we get set up, you're going to go right to your class.
Right.
But is your password still the same? Yes.
Yep. but we went through that whole trip down Main Street because you really only need to access that little tab over here called Resources, right here. So everybody try to find their little Resources tab right over here, okay? You're going to want to click on that Resources tab. Okay, see if everyone can get to that look right there. Should be Resources, yeah. That's fine. No, that's fine if it looks a little different. No worries. That's fine if it looks a little different. Because really all you need to do is find this little magic button right here. Student Program. Boom. Student Program. Click on Student Program.
So those of you who already have a login for the district, you'll notice that instead of strategies, you have access to Power Up. That's because the district has migrated the account over to the new secondary program, which is Power Up. So you don't have strategies anymore here in Norwalk, which is a great thing because Power Up is awesome. Anybody in the room working in sixth grade or above?
Anyone?
It's all elementary.
No, that's fine. You click on that, and then we'll show you. That's fine. Yep, that'll be fine.
Then you don't have to worry about Power Up.
All right, so let's move forward through the rough surf here. I want you to click on I am an educator, please. I am an educator. And you're going to want to enter either a good login like you just did or that sample login again. The sample login is district@core5demo.com. Okay? All right? Or if you have a login, enter your login again. District@core5demo.com. Success. And you should start the demo. Yay! Right there. Educator. Good. We hear all these movies going. Yep. Click on Resources. Yep. Then go to Student Program. Yep. Install. You can install that. All right. Feeling good here. Now, the way that you can use this demo, guys, you can use it two ways. You can use it for your own curiosity, to play around with the program to see what the students are doing, or you can use it to orient the students to the program. So let's pretend that we're orienting our class to the program. We're going to want to explain to the kids that they're going to be working on a certain level in the program. And it's no big deal what level you're working on. That's where you are, what instructional level you're on. Okay? And you can just pick any level to explore the activities with the kids. So what I'd like you to do is to pick level 9 for me, level 9. Click on level 9, and it's going to show you the 5 themes that the students are going to be working on in level 9. The 5 themes. You see how they're color-coded? They're going to be working on 2 phonics activities, a fluency activity, a vocabulary activity, and a comprehension activity. Okay? So let's forward that. All of the students are going to do a warm-up activity each time they start the program. So I want you guys to let's do the grab and go one. So everyone click on grab and go.
You've got overachievers who are way.
Oh, that's okay, yeah. This is on vowel team, so I want you to practice that. That's what the students are going to be doing. See that? Yeah? You have to have your sound turned up a little bit to do the directions, yeah?
So you can see how important it is to have headphones when you're in a room full of kids doing Lexia all at the same time.
So this is what your classroom will sound like with no headphones.
Somehow the kids seem to be able to handle it better than I can.
Okay, you can advance to the level there. This is level 9. Sounds like a bazaar in here. Maybe Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
That's just the warm-up. Once you finish, it'll bring you to.
Okay, I'm going to give you a warning now. Indiana Jones, warning, right? Here's the warning. Students have a lot of choice in this program. Level 9. Students have, if you've used this program before with students, you know that they've got some choice. They can pick any of the themes to try to complete some units. You want to watch out for Johnny or Sally Dabbler. Who is a dabbler? A dabbler is someone who picks a theme, tries out a couple questions, and then X's out and picks out another theme. Then they try a couple questions. So they're treating the program like a remote control, right? Like we would do at home in front of the television. So you want to encourage the students to pick a theme and try to complete at least one unit in that theme before they X out and pick another theme, okay? These are all the little units that they're trying to complete. See? It's like a little scorecard, a little odometer there. So why don't I give you a couple minutes to explore, click on a theme, try the activity, see what happens when you make mistakes. When you make mistakes, you're going to go down to guided practice or direct instruction. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah. The resets? Yeah. I'll tell that to the group. Good. You all set? Oh, yeah. So pick a unit to start with. This is in demo mode, so you can start right at the beginning if you want. Yeah. You could explain that they're going to start out on the, you'll see there's bars that are colored, right? So the green bar is independent, blue is guided practice, and yellow is what? I'll explain that. Blue is guided, and then this is the lowest level, this is yellow, it's direct instruction. Yeah. So you see how it's really providing them with that direct, Try to notice how the bar might change colors, right? The little progress bar across the bottom. It changes from green to blue to yellow, depending on whether you're in guided practice or direct instruction. That's that little bar that's going across the bottom, the progress bar.
It's not going to change. It's going to change.
Green means standard, and the blue means guided practice, and the yellow is direct instruction. Yeah, there's some mistakes. You see what happens, right? You're doing well. You're improve your hope, right? So you're in direction, or you're in guided practice. Well, you wasn't in a mistake. Did you make I did. So now, yeah. Oh, so you're actually, we're going to get you on the Well, you know, once you make your mistakes, right, you'll see that you make mistakes. It'll go to, this will change to the yellow bar, and it'll be really basic direct instruction. What's that? So green is the standard, independent, blue is guided, and then yellow is direct instruction.
So you want to go up, and then down, if you just want to use up now we'll raise it. Just on the video.
Or it might change to yellow. Yeah. Because you're still in the warm-up. So you can skip the then you go to the actual level. You can skip the intro. They don't have that. And then you can activity down. They don't see this. You can pick the first few. And then that's the progress bar. Yeah. And then if you get them right, you'll see the progress bar is green. You start to make mistakes, you'll change to blue or yellow. Right. When you're done seeing the bar, the green bar goes all the way across the top, across the end, and it changes everything around those little things. It actually gives them a little rewarding. You could, if you wanted, you could choose it for things, or you could just keep going. All right. That's okay. Yeah. Perfect. Good strategy. All right, if I could just have your attention just for 1 second, right up here for a sec. We are going to get ready to move forward. We have about 30 minutes left in the training. Let me just be clear about 3 things that I was telling people, and Lisa were telling people as we're going around. If you notice that when you're answering the questions correctly, a little green bar starts to move across the bottom of the screen. That's called the progress bar. The way to finish a whole unit is to move that green bar all the way across to the end, and that's 1 unit that you're finished with. And you'll notice that the students get a little reward animation when they're finished with 1 unit, and they'll shade in the next little block here, the next little unit block, in the little tracker, okay? The bar will change colors based on how the student is doing. If they're struggling, the bar will change to blue for guided practice. If they're still struggling, it will change to yellow for direct instruction. Now, this is a great little idea that I'm going to share with you guys, so just tune in here. There's also a little apple. See the little apple down in the lower left-hand corner of the screen? That apple is clear. It's doesn't have a color right now. If the student spends too much time in the units and they're getting all this help from the computer and they're still not being successful, that apple is going to start to glow red. When that apple glows red, that is a signal to the student that they are officially struggling, okay? And you're going to get a message in your data site. You're going to get that student added to your struggling tab. The student is going to show up on your struggling tab, okay? So you could show the students that when they get that red apple, that's a time for them to take a deep breath and realize that they've been kind of churning around and struggling, okay? They can either persist, keep going, or maybe you give them permission at that point. They could X out and pick a different theme to work on. But you just don't want students Xing out and picking a different theme to work on for any old reason, because somebody told me this, I forgot who it was. Let's say they answer 5 questions correctly, and then they get antsy and they X out, that bar resets. That bar resets. They don't get credit for those 5 questions. They've got to do them over again. Yeah. So that's like an additional penalty. So you don't want kids dabbling around. Yes, Lisa?
So I just wanted to reiterate, if you remember back to the slide that Matt was showing us that showed the standard mode, the guided practice mode, and the instructional mode, that's what those colors, those progress bar colors relate back to that Matt was just referring to.
Yeah.
So when the student sees the red apple, that means they're struggling. What that means in the actual software is that they've gone through our embedded instruction in the program 2 times, right? That's when that lesson is going to show up in my Lexia for us, telling us that we need to pull the student off the software and deliver offline instruction, okay? So we do attempt to teach the lesson within the software, and a lot of times, once the kids get in there, they say, oh, I get it now. And they go back to standard, and they score 90% or better, and they move on, and you never knew they were struggling.
Oh, so you're saying, Lisa, that they don't just make them struggling right off the bat. They can go down to direct instruction twice, and they can go down there once, but if they go down there again, and they're still struggling, that's when you're going to get that red apple. Okay.
Right. So that's why it's really important that we're checking my Lexia on a very regular basis. Lexia recommends a couple of times a week. Personally, I don't think that's enough, especially in a program like this, which is such a short period of time, and it's a short week on top of it. I highly recommend that you check my Lexia once a day, just to get a handle on what you're going to need to do. If it's in the morning, you're checking who needs lessons today, who needs minutes today. Or if you're checking after your classes are over in the afternoon,
obviously it's gonna be, what am I doing tomorrow, right? But you don't wanna leave kids to struggle in these skills, in these activities for too long, because we've already put them through the paces a bunch of times, and they're about that far from getting frustrated. So we really wanna pull them off and deliver that instruction soon. Yep.
During the school year, I get emails when my kids need an instruction, or when they, certificate that was ready to,
Yep.
will be given for this length of.
Yep.
If you have your account set up to give you those alerts, yes, it will. But, as you know, it's not gonna tell you who's struggling and with what. It's only gonna tell you, hey, you've got struggling students, you've got students who need certificates, you have, I don't think it tells you, for the skill builders. If I
I
remember.
never go in print, I don't.
Yeah, I don't think you get
The link is
an
there
alert.
and then you just click.
Right.
But at least it's kind of good for me, I see it and then.
Exactly, right, so you can set up those alerts in your personal account, that will be the same place where you would go to change your password if you wanted to. So you can get daily alerts, you can get weekly alerts, bi-monthly, monthly. Frankly, I think they should take the bi-monthly and the monthly out of there, because what good does that do you? If you've got kids who are struggling with the same skill for a month, oh my goodness. Those kids are hating Core 5 by now. So it's too late. I mean, I'm not saying don't deliver the instruction, I'm just saying we've got to get on it a lot more quickly than that.
So this is a great place for us to just transition over to the second half of the presentation, right? So we talked about what the students are actually doing in the program. And I'd like you all to bring your attention up here to this sample classroom right here. This is Mrs. Lemire. She is a sample teacher, okay? So this is all kind of made up data. But remember I said that if a student is really having a difficult time with a particular unit, there was going to be a little area that you're going to be able to find that out. So that's going to be right there. See that struggling tab right there? When I open that struggling tab, it's going to show me, just like Lisa was saying, who is struggling with what. We have Treva is struggling with beginning sounds. Melissa is struggling with beginning sounds. How did they get on this struggling tab? We just figured that out. They were going through beginning sounds. They tried direct instruction a couple of times. It was not working for them. It was not helping them. So they got that red apple. They got that red apple, and then they ended up in this struggling tab. You guys probably know this, but if you click on the skill that they're struggling with, that's when you get that little lesson that you can pull the student aside. And if you want to work in the small group with them, this will be a little direct lesson that you can use to help them. These are called our Lexia lessons. Usually there's some word cards or some resources for you to help you reinforce beginning sounds with the student. Okay? All right? Now, I'm going to show you another cool feature here, okay? In the program. Let me close this out, okay? In the program, you're also going to be able to find this. Oops, one second. Not only are you going to be able to see who's struggling, but you're going to be able to see who is making progress. Now, I want you to take a note about this because it's not easy to find. And this would be the one report that I think you should pay attention to during the year. I'm going to show you how to get, or during your summer school experience, I'm going to show you how to get to this. This area right here is going to show you all you need to know for this week. Well, what happens when this week is over, okay? So we've got these students putting in total minutes, gaining units. We like to see that. They're putting in minutes, they're gaining units, okay? But if you want to see how they've done for the last 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, this is what I would want you to do. You're going to want to go to class reports, okay? And you're going to want to grab this skill progress report right here. This is going to show you historically how the students are doing, where they are in the program, if they finished any levels, okay? So you notice this student right here, Selena, she started on level 8, she finished level 8, she finished level 9, and she's 63% of the way through level 10. So this is like their overall scorecard right here. This is called the skills report. So all you have to do is to remember that you're going to want to hit on class reports and then skill report. Very easy. Skill progress report. Okay? That will show you how the students are doing overall. I think what we should do right now is we should try to make sure before we leave that you've got your class created for summer school. Okay? Right? You guys think you have a good idea? Yeah? How many people already created their class? They figured out how to do it? Is it being done for you? Janine's not here. She wanted me to show you how to create your class, so it's really easy, really easy. Were you given a list of kids that are going to be in your class? Does everyone have, most of you have your list of kids with you or no? Yes, no, maybe so? It's really easy, so you take a couple notes, you can do it later. All you're going to want to do is go to your Manage tab. Your Manage tab is located right over here. It looks like, what's that Disney movie? Trident, what is it, Ariel or something? Little Mermaid, Little Mermaid. So just remember, you can picture Lisa as the Little Mermaid. And I'll be, is there a Triton? I'll be Triton. Yeah, well, is that a good character in the movie? I never saw the movie. Alright, so, well, you can be an adult mermaid. You can be a lady mermaid. How about that? So, you're going to want to click on the Trident. Okay? Right here. And you're going to see a little plus button. Who sees the blue plus button down at the bottom of the screen?
They're not going to see it on their...
If you're on the demo account, you're not going to see it.
No, I'm going back.
Anybody see a plus button? Where? Right at the bottom of the screen, no?
If you're in on your...
If you're in your own account. No?
Right, exactly. If you're on the demo, you won't see it.
I'm on my own account, but I don't have a class.
No, you're on the
Okay,
demo.
it's going to make a liar out of me. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, you know what, Matt?
Yeah.
I think they're read-only.
Oh, they're on read
I
only.
think they're all on read-only. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so you cannot do it if you're on read only. So,
I'm not going to go here.
Janine, hello, Janine. Janine's escaped.
My own feet.
So they're set up to be read only.
Yes.
So they would have to have their access changed
Well,
to
or,
create a class.
yeah, no, Kathy Ortman is setting up all of your classes for you.
Oh, all right.
You don't have to worry about any of that.
Oh, I'm the last one to know here. Okay.
Kathy is, but everyone's name. We don't have our individual classes. It's just my school.
And that's how they kept it last year, so I don't think we need to get for individual teachers.
Okay.
Oh, I had it.
Yeah, teacher read only.
Teacher read only.
Did you have a class?
All the teachers have it, but they did bring it up.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah. You just click on it, she divvies it out.
Sort of like.
Well, so here's where we are right now. Even if I wanted you to create your own class, you don't have the right access. So you'd have to get it changed to be allowed to create a class. So no worries. I'm sure it'll all work out. Remember, this is no worries training, right? No worries training. No worries. All right. I'm not. I mean, I'll be home here or something.
No worries.
Okay. Okay, so what we are going to do instead is I'm going to clue you into all the wonderful resources that come with the program. So what I want you to do is not to click on the aerial Trident button, I want you to click on the resources button for me. Everybody click on this resources button. If you don't mind, that would be really great. And I want you to find the Core 5 Resources Hub. Core 5 Resources Hub, right here. It's located right over on the right side of the screen. Core 5 Resources Hub. And you'll find the friendly panda You should see the panda.
Before you go into that,
Yeah.
can I just do one follow-up?
Sure.
So I'm looking at one of your actual
Here, why don't you-
log accounts.
Keep trying to make me use this. So Kathy does not have classes set up for you guys. And the only reason that's going to be an issue is because it's going to be a little bit harder for you to identify your kids who are struggling. It's also going to be really difficult for you to print up your class roster and your information cards, thank you, because it's going to print the entire school of students. So I will get in touch with Kathy after the training today, and I will ask her if she would please set up individual classes for all of you. It's just going to be a whole lot easier for you guys if you have access to those classes. It's not a bad thing to have the whole group in one class as well, because you can log into that class and see all of the kids in the school building who need the same lesson. And if you guys are able to, you can borrow kids from other classrooms. If you know you're teaching a particular lesson, for example, you could say to the other teachers, hey, I see that you have 2 students who need the same lesson. I'm going to teach it this afternoon or this morning. You know, why don't you send your student in and I'll deliver instruction for all of them. I mean, why waste time teaching the same lesson in 2 or 3 different classrooms, right?
Last year, we were able to pick our
I think last year you were, but I'm pretty sure that they switched everybody's access to read only, just so Kathy was sure she knew where everybody was and people weren't moving people around and things like that. So when we have a Kathy in a district, it works beautifully because she's on top of things. So I will follow up on that for you, okay?
So we're really right at the end of the training. I've really got about 10, 12 more minutes of material for you. And so spoiler alert or preview here. Once I'm done with this last section, I do have a quick feedback survey that I'm hoping you could take for me. The survey takes about 2 or 3 minutes, and then you're free we can stay here and answer questions, stretch your legs, go get a drink or get some sunshine. So,
Well, maybe we should take some questions now, because we only have a few minutes.
well, let me tell you, when I'm really hot on this, let me show them this and then we'll take a few questions. Yeah. No worries. Before I forget, because I've got a really neat little trick to show people. So make sure you're on the Panda, right? The Core 5 Resources Hub. And the first thing that will reassure you is that anything that I've told you, or Lisa has told you, is all available through tutorial videos. So if you forget any of this, you can go down to the Training on Demand section, right here. Click on Training on Demand. All these tutorial videos will explain everything that we just talked about. And as a matter of fact, the reason I wanted to hit them with this, Lisa, is that there's a really nice video on creating your classes in My Lexia, a little 3-minute video. So let's say that Magic Kathy is, wins the lottery and she's in Florida, okay? All you have to do is watch that little tutorial video. It's called Creating Classes in My Lexia, and you'll be able to create your own classes. Janine, we were just discovering that the teachers don't have the correct access to create a class, so anyway, but
I'll email Pat.
yeah, there we go. So anyway, so what will you find in the Resources Hub? Okay, Training on Demand videos, great, okay? You also have access to all of our user guides. If you click on Guides and Manuals, you have an electronic copy of the training guide that I just showed you guys. I just handed it out to you, there it is. You can download it and email it, or get another copy of it if you'd like. But what I love, and I don't know about you, Lisa, but I love the full manual, which is right here. The Core 5 Teacher Manual, it's complete. If you're like a scope and sequence type of person, special education teacher, for example, and you want to see the detailed scope and sequence for every level in the program, this is really great because it'll help you maybe write objectives or set some goals for your students. So that's going to show you, for example, this is level Level 3, what are the students doing in the blending task? What are they doing in the segmenting task, etc. So this is going to give you a preview and a detailed look at all the levels in the program. So I always show people that because that is really powerful information. Now, my favorite other resource, if you go into support for instruction, you're going to find that each of our strands comes with offline materials that will help you support the students' learning. So, for example, if you're looking for more resources in vocabulary, or phonological awareness, or structural analysis, there's flashcards in there. There's comprehension lessons and comprehension activities. I don't know, Lisa probably has her favorite one, but my favorite resource is the fluency passages right here. Because what you can do is if you're having someone who's struggling with fluency, you can assign them, back when I was teaching, we used to do something called repeated reading. Do you remember that? I don't know if that's still in vogue, but repeated reading would be a student takes a little card or a little passage and they practice it at home for the week. And then they come in on Friday and they read it to the class, and it really builds their fluency. So this resource in here has got all sorts of graded fluency passages that you could use with your students. It goes all the way up through 5th grade. It's a huge resource. It's about 100 pages, but you could make that into a little summer program right there. Find out what level the students are in, give them a passage to practice for the week, and that'll really give them a simple assignment to do at home. The other thing that I want you guys to note is that the parent letter is here, school to home. When you click on school to home, you'll find the usage letter for how to get kids on at home. So mine's lagging there, and that would be something you could send home in their folders in the first part of summer school. No internet connection. So yeah. Yes. Yes, yes. Our company is owned by Rosetta Stone, so we're a language learning company as well. And what I forgot to tell you is, Core 5 comes in 7 languages. So, well, I'm going to tell them that accent. I like that statement. Core 5 comes in 7 languages. So you can change the direction language to Arabic, Spanish, Vietnamese, yeah. So the student still has to do the work in English, but the directions will be read to them in their native language. And you can change the account. You have to go into the student account to do that, to change their background language. So, yes. You could email Kathy, yeah, if you don't have the directions on it. The letter, you have to print it out and make copies, yeah. Oh, well, one is editable. Oh, there's an actual, I didn't know that, there's an actual summer home use letter as well. Well, you could explore that, maybe that's more appropriate. Yeah.
It's very summer access. It's only for summer access for the kids that are attending summer school. Only for summer school access.
Yeah, if there are any leftover licenses, then kids that already have accounts could continue to use it at home, but we kind of reallocated or borrowed them back. There might be questions.
Yeah, it has some language in there for summer school, yeah.
The letter is important if you want your kids using the software.
And where would I find that at home?
That's in the resources hub.
Under school to home,
School to home.
right there.
That letter is important because the biggest problem that we have with kids using the software at home is parents and siblings and other people helping kids with the software. They need to be doing the program 100% independently. If they are not, we don't know where they're struggling, right? So it's messing up our data in my Lexia, and we can't use it to inform our instruction anymore.
Not a separate.
Yeah, so, mom's walking by and sees little Johnny about to click on the wrong answer. idea that I need to deliver instruction for that particular skill. Right, now, we'll go in and show you how to reset, but I want you to be really careful about resetting. You lose all of your historical data on that student when you reset, okay? Which is not a terrible thing. I would invite you to get in touch with me if you feel that you want to reset a student, and I'll walk you through the procedure of saving the prior data so you still have access to it, but you'll lose it in the database in my Lexia.
So that means anything they've done within that school year is lost?
Anything they've done prior to resetting is lost in the system. Yeah. But if they've been on it for 2 or 3 years, you're going to lose all of it. But you can save it. You can save it. So the only circumstances under which I would reset a student and give them the auto placement again is if the student has been away from Core 5 for a while and you think maybe they're not in the right place in the program, you want to re-auto place. If you think that they've had help with the program prior and you really want to see what are those skill gaps, I feel like we missed some maybe. Special needs kids. I tutored a student at New Haven Reeds for a year before last, or what was last year. She had fine motor skills issues, and she was using Core 5 with a mouse. That wasn't working for her. She would constantly click on the wrong thing, like not the wrong thing, but the thing she didn't mean to click on. So she knew the answers, but her fingers wouldn't do what her brain wanted them to do. So I would sit there and watch her go, that's not what I meant to do. And it was so frustrating for her, and I could tell just by listening to her read that she was too low in Core 5. So I switched her to an iPad because the touch screen was much easier for her to maneuver. And then I re-auto placed her, and she tested in 2 levels higher than where she was working before. So that's another great reason to re-auto place. But those are extenuating circumstances. If your students have been working all along in the school year and you don't feel that there's anything amiss, let them just continue from where they started. Okay?
So
So
maybe
maybe
now,
instead of showing that, I'll just ask you to get in touch with either Kathy or Janine, and they'll copy me, and I'll walk you through it. Okay?
so maybe your suggestion, Lisa, about taking any remaining questions. So we're really at basically the conclusion of our training. So are there any remaining questions that we haven't answered? You guys hopefully feeling thumbs up? Pretty good about it, yeah? This is the time to ask. So Janine's here, we're here, so.
You said because we're a Spanish-speaking school, the child had the instructions in Spanish, but the reading would be in English.
Yes.
Correct. So the curriculum would be in English, the directions would be in Spanish. So if you're not sure that your students are really understanding what they're supposed to do when the task comes up, you can change just the directions to Spanish. You want to show that? Yeah.
I can show you how to do that real quick. So what you're going to want to do on that, watch up here real quick, to change any students, account to a Spanish or Vietnamese supported type of a language account. You're going to want to make sure you have in your Manage tab, in your Triton, fancy aerial Manage tab here, you're going to want to make sure you have students highlighted, students. You're going to see all your students, and you're going to have, again, if they're read-only, they might not have it, but if you can't change it, you're going to have an eyeball. If you can change it, you're going to have a pencil. See, I have an eyeball because I shouldn't be able to change any of this. You might have an editing pencil. You want to click on that editing pencil, and there's a little hidden menu up here. Info, demographic data, program. You want to grab program. And you want to change the direction language right here. There's a drop-down menu. And that's also where you would change the reading placement. Lisa's indicated that that's kind of a more of a serious thing. You might want to get in touch with Kathy or, to re-auto-place the student. Does anybody have an editing pencil when they go into that thing?
Yeah, a couple people are in there. So just in general, you all said that you're starting the summer school program on Monday, correct? Yes. All right, so do we all feel like we know what we're doing when we go in on Monday? We all feel like we know?
Training video.
Number one, right? So the kids are going to be working independently. We're going to be checking my Lexia. I know some of you don't have your my Lexia accounts yet, guys. So you're going to be checking your my Lexia account.
It wouldn't make sense. No, it's not.
Daily if possible. And you're going to be checking for minutes to make sure your kids are meeting their prescribed minutes every week.
Teachers, yeah.
And you're going to be checking for struggling students. Right? And when you see struggling students, you can just click on that icon, print up that lesson, deliver instruction. So basically, those are the only two things you need to do. Right? You're going to go into my Lexia, you're going to check to make sure your kids are getting their minutes, and you're going to deliver instruction to those kids who are showing those icons, those lesson icons for struggling. Right? If you do those two things on a consistent basis, you will be using Core 5 with fidelity for the summer. Okay? Not too hard, right? It takes 5 minutes to log into my Lexia, check your class table, print up any lessons you need, done for the day. Right? Easy peasy.
I want to thank you guys for your attention. You guys have been great. It's time to unwind a little, relax. Thank you. But your exit ticket out the door to stretch a little bit is this little survey. It is located at lexialearning.com/launch. Here we go. lexialearning.com/launch. And you'll see this screen come up here. So you want to type in your message bar, lexialearning.com/launch. You'll see some students using the program. You want to click on post-training survey. lexialearning.com/launch. Post-training survey. You're going to pick out the Irish kid, Matt O'Connell. Right here under M, Matt O'Connell. And you're going to remember all the wonderful things we did today. There's going to be a few ratings there, and then if you have any comments, we would appreciate them. Positive or needs improvement. And it takes about 2 minutes, and then it was very nice seeing you guys all again, and have a great summer. Yep. Yes, you have another question. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have that little icon.
Do a little coaching. No, but you're supporting them. That's perfect. That's what I would do. Because otherwise, what's going to happen is that they're going to be flagged as struggling, and then you're going to have to do that anyway. Yeah. What's that? Oh, yeah.
It's a little icon.
Yes.
What time is the next one?
Actually, I thought it was important of Italian. My dad, his mother was all Italian, and his father was from Spain. So he went to school, he worked there, or just like he had
That'll be it. That's just
Story after story, get the book if you want to follow along. You don't have to.